In the frozen wilderness of northern Canada, along the shores of what is now known as Lake Anjikuni, there once existed a small Inuit village. A tight-knit community where families lived, hunted, and survived in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Life here was never easy, but the people had adapted to the cold, relying on each other and the land for survival. But in the autumn of 1930, something occurred that would become one of the most haunting mysteries of the 20th century. One day, an entire village seemingly vanished without a trace, leaving behind their homes, their possessions, and even the meals they had been preparing. It was a disappearance so complete that it defied explanation and still captivates imaginations to this day. The story begins with a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle. He was traveling through the remote wilderness, approaching the small settlement near Lake Anjikuni, a place he had visited many times before and knew well. He expected to see the familiar sights of daily life, hunters returning with game, children playing, smoke curling from fire pits, but what he encountered was far from ordinary. The village was eerily silent. The tents and huts were standing as if frozen in time, but there were no people. Inside the dwellings, tasks were left unfinished. The needle remained stuck in fabric, food hung over fire pits, and everyday items lay scattered exactly as though the villagers had simply stepped away for a moment. Yet nobody was there, and there were no signs of struggle or disorder beyond the normal chaos of daily life. Even the sled dogs, essential companions and lifelines for survival in this harsh landscape, were found dead, frozen in place, still tied as they had been when the villagers left. Whoever had vanished had not returned for them, leaving their loyal animals to starve in the bitter cold. The scene was both tragic and unsettling, a silence so profound it seemed almost unnatural. LaBelle explored further, venturing toward the village burial ground, where stones marked the resting places of the community's deceased. There, he discovered another chilling detail. Graves had been disturbed, emptied of their contents, with the markers stacked neatly to one side. The missing bones and absence of any explanation added another layer of mystery to an already inexplicable scene. Shaken, LaBelle returned to the nearest telegraph office to alert the authorities. And soon members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrived to investigate. What they found confirmed his report: empty tents, unfinished meals, and a landscape entirely devoid of human presence. No footprints led away, no signs of a forced departure existed, and every trace of life seemed to have vanished overnight. Newspapers quickly carried the story, painting a picture of a small Arctic village that had disappeared as though it had never existed. But when the RCMP addressed the case publicly, they claimed there was no official record of such an event. They suggested that the story had been exaggerated, misreported, or perhaps had become an urban legend, despite LaBelle's eyewitness account. Researchers and historians have since traced the earliest account of the disappearance to a November 27, 1930 article written by Emmett E. Keller, which described 6 tents and about 25 Inuit men, women, and children missing. Over time, the story evolved, with some versions claiming far larger numbers and adding unexplained phenomena. From mysterious lights in the sky to unseen forces at work, skeptics have proposed practical explanations. Perhaps LaBelle had misinterpreted a seasonal hunting camp that had been temporarily abandoned. Inuit families often moved between camps depending on hunting cycles and environmental conditions, leaving behind supplies and personal items. But even these theories cannot fully explain the frozen dogs, the undisturbed grave markers, or the absolute absence of any footprints or trails leading from the village. The Lake Anjikuni disappearance remains an enigma. It has become a story that transcends simple mystery, a tale that asks us to consider how fragile our understanding of reality can be. Despite repeated investigations, no definitive evidence has ever surfaced to confirm what truly happened that November. The villagers may have left for reasons unknown, or perhaps something far stranger occurred, something that continues to elude explanation. Almost a century later, the village at Lake Anjikuni lives on in legend. It serves as a reminder that the world contains places where history and myth intertwine, where disappearance can happen without warning, and where the line between fact and speculation is blurred. The story challenges us to acknowledge that even the simplest human communities, no matter how grounded in everyday life, can vanish, leaving only questions behind. The disappearance of Lake Anjikuni is not just about a village that vanished. It is about the limits of human knowledge, the fragility of memory, and the mysteries that linger at the edges of civilization. It is a chilling testament to the unknown and an enduring puzzle that has yet to be solved. Even today, the winds sweep across the frozen landscape of Lake Anjikuni, whispering stories of a community that seemed to disappear overnight. leaving behind only silence, frozen dogs, abandoned tents, and the cold, haunting questions that have persisted for generations. It is a story that reminds us of the fragility of human presence in a vast and indifferent world, and that some mysteries, no matter how closely examined, may never yield their secrets. And for anyone who hears this tale, it is impossible not to wonder, what truly happened that night at Lake Anjakuni, and will we ever know the answer?